Hello everyone, my name is Darin Johnson. I'm part of the Aliaxis global marketing team. Aliaxis is a global leader in the manufacturing and distribution of advanced plastic piping systems, and we exist to bring solutions to the world's water challenges and accelerate the transition to clean energy. It's clear that hydrogen has a central role in the clean energy transition and will be pivotal to helping us achieve our commitment of global net zero emissions by 2050. While hydrogen holds incredible promise in supporting and enabling a net zero energy system, it's still met with adoption challenges. So bringing together all stakeholders across the entire hydrogen value chain will be key to overcoming the major adoption barriers. This short session is intended to provide an introduction to hydrogen, introduce how Aliaxis is contributing to moving towards a hydrogen-ready future with our H2-ready free-element electrofusion solutions for gas networks, and will provide an understanding of what it actually means to be H2 ready. So we feel it important to start with the why. Why hydrogen and why now? Well, as a global community, we need to act urgently to tackle climate change and fight the effects of global warming. Renewable energy alone is not going to be enough to help us achieve net zero by 2050. It's going to require a partner. And this is where hydrogen enters the picture. More than any other substance on Earth, hydrogen holds tremendous potential to help us decarbonize the global economy. For one, it's extremely versatile. It can be used to store and transport energy, and it can be used as a replacement for fossil fuels as a direct fuel itself. When it burns clean. The only combustion byproduct is water. But we also have to remember that not all hydrogen is created equal. There are several different ways to produce it, which result in different carbon footprints. So the industry has come up with a color scheme for hydrogen to describe its source, its production method, and its carbon footprint. The majority of hydrogen that's produced today is known as gray hydrogen, which uses natural gas in a process called steam methane reforming, where CO2 is emitted to the atmosphere. Gray hydrogen is used almost exclusively as a feedstock in oil refining and ammonia production for fertilizers, and it's responsible for a very large amount of global greenhouse gas emissions annually. So the prospect of growing the hydrogen economy by producing more gray hydrogen is not going to serve our decarbonization efforts. And this is why attention is focused primarily on two other colors of hydrogen. Blue hydrogen, which is produced essentially the same way as gray hydrogen, but the majority of CO2 is captured and stored so it never enters the atmosphere. And then there's green hydrogen. And this is really where the ambition is for many different end-use sectors in many countries. Green hydrogen is produced from renewable electricity like wind and solar and water, in a process called water electrolysis. So we can actually split water with electricity to produce hydrogen gas and oxygen gas with virtually zero CO2 emissions. And this is where renewables and hydrogen form their partnership. So through what the industry calls the power to X ecosystem, we can benefit from renewables even when they're not available by converting them to clean green hydrogen via water electrolysis, which can then be used as a source of fuel, as a feedstock for industry, or as a source of heat and power in buildings. And we can also utilize low carbon blue hydrogen for the same purposes that can be used to replace fossil fuels, replace gray hydrogen, and can in turn decarbonize a multitude of downstream sectors, many of which renewables alone have a hard time penetrating. So the power to X ecosystem is really the ambition and the long-term goal. But the reality today is that although we've done a lot of work to get to that ambition, there's still a lot of work to do. Hydrogen represents a modest fraction of the global energy mix, and only a small fraction of the global hydrogen production stems from renewable sources. Furthermore, green hydrogen and blue hydrogen globally are more expensive than gray hydrogen. And in many scenarios, green and blue are still more expensive to be a feasible replacement for gray hydrogen and to replace fossil fuels directly. So to create this new ecosystem, to harness the power of hydrogen for lasting change, it's clear that, among other things, we need to reduce the green and the blue premium and we need to create the conditions for full adoption. So what do we need to do? Well, it's things like scaling up green, mostly green and blue production. It's investing in research and innovation. It's building wind and solar capacity to support a green hydrogen economy, development of new infrastructure networks, and upgrading of existing infrastructure networks to make them hydrogen ready. And it's about implementing the regulatory policies to remove any adoption barriers. So these are some of the key things. It's easy for us to say, but we seem to be at a tipping point. Over 90 countries have net zero targets. Almost 40 countries have adopted a hydrogen strategy. And what's most promising is that project announcements and investments continue to increase on what almost seems to be a weekly basis. So to continue this momentum, we need all stakeholders across the value chain to come together to promote investments and to really stimulate the rollout of clean hydrogen production and use. We believe manufacturers like Aliaxis are going to play an important role in the clean energy transition and in making green and blue hydrogen globally competitive. So as part of the hydrogen gas, new hydrogen gas economy, there's going to be an increasing need to deliver hydrogen throughout the Power-to-X ecosystem to various sectors and end-use applications. In some cases, up to 100% hydrogen fuel gas is going to be required. In other cases, hydrogen blended into existing natural gas networks is going to be employed. And these scenarios are going to require either completely new hydrogen infrastructure networks or upgrading of existing infrastructure networks to make them hydrogen ready. Now, there may be parts of existing infrastructure networks that can handle various concentrations of hydrogen or hydrogen blended into the natural gas network. And whatever the case may be, Aliaxis is ready. So our H2-ready Freelin electrofusion solutions are suitable for use with up to 100% hydrogen fuel gases. It's a good time to explain what it actually means to be H2 ready. And we'll try to do this as concisely as possible and try not to get too technical. So the German Fuel Institute, in Germany, we may know them by the acronym DBI. I'm not going to attempt the German translation, but the DBI, their gas technology division, has developed a certification program called H2-ready, where they've developed testing guidelines to demonstrate the suitability of gas products for the use, for the storage, and for the transport of hydrogen and hydrogen natural gas mixtures. Despite the lack of standards that exist around hydrogen today, from their vast experience in gas networks, DBI has developed these testing guidelines based on the safe and successful supply of natural gas and their associated standards. So, as part of the program, an H2-ready label can be applied to products that go through the certification process, that are tested at DBI's laboratory, and that meet the applicable testing criteria set forth by DBI. So an H2-ready label on a product certifies through DBI that that product is suitable for use in hydrogen or blended gas networks. And then a testing certificate will be issued to the product manufacturer, which lists the product that has been listed and tested, the test guideline to which the product conforms, and the volume percentage of hydrogen that the product can accept. And this is very important because an H2-ready label doesn't necessarily mean that a product can accept up to 100% hydrogen gas. Typically, the certification will be for up to 20% hydrogen gas in natural gas networks or up to 100% hydrogen fuel gases. So the H2-ready program is a way the industry is confirming suitability of products in hydrogen gas networks, and it's helping gas utilities and helping end-use sectors move towards a hydrogen-ready future. So as part of DBI's H2-ready program, the scope of application for our Freelin electrofusion solutions has been extended to up to 100% hydrogen fuel gases, up to a maximum operating pressure of 10 bar. And this includes our molded electrofusion fittings, our ball valves, tapping tees, tapping valves, our metal mechanical connectors for PE pipes called Freer Grip and Ultra Grip, and our PE to metal transition connectors. And then coupled with our innovative new generation Freomat fusion unit, which opens up a wealth of digital functionality when it comes to documentation and traceability of fusion welding data, among many other features and benefits. Our full suite of electrofusion solutions provide a safe and reliable connection technology that has been trusted for decades in gas networks across the world. Okay, so just a couple words to wrap up this session. The development of new hydrogen gas infrastructure networks and upgrading of existing gas infrastructure networks is going to be critical to delivering hydrogen to various sectors in the Power-to-X ecosystem. And it will play a very important role in moving us as a global community towards a hydrogen-ready future. It's also going to be very important for manufacturers to confirm the suitability of their products for use in hydrogen or blended gas networks. At Aliaxis, we believe we can contribute to making green and blue hydrogen more competitive, and we're dedicated to accelerating the clean energy transition with our H2-ready Freelin electrofusion solutions. So if you would like to learn more about our H2-ready solutions and other solutions we have for hydrogen applications, please feel free to reach out to us and we'd be happy to chat. Thank you very much.